Hi guys, it's Debbie, and today I would like to speak about 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. I've quoted this film many times in my Oscars prediction video, and I wanted to speak about it more in depth as I really enjoyed it. When I'd first seen the trailer to this film a few months ago, I had not given much thought to it. It appeared as a very simple and contained story. I expected it to be a very simple dispute between the main character and her billboards and the small, closed-minded town in which she lives. But after crying for 2 hours glued to the screen, I can definitely say I was completely wrong. 3 Billboards is the story of Mildred, whose daughter is brutally murdered and raped in a small town where nothing usually happens, and where all the inhabitants know one another. The police never find a solution to the case, and after weeks and months of not receiving any feedback from the authorities, Mildred decides to take the matter in her own hands and sets up 3 huge billboards which say, "Raped while dying, still no arrests, how come Chief Willoughby?" with the intent of shaking the police force into taking a deeper look into the case. This is the point in which I thought the film would have stopped. I thought the plot would have revolved around the sense of shock within the community, Mildred's tough relationship with the police, but the story moved way beyond this in a way I was definitely not expecting. I was prepared for 2 hours focused on one main character. Instead, we had a very deep insight into Chief Willoughby's character, Police Officer Dixon, which was one of the most frustrating but well-developed roles on set. We saw how the community reacted to Mildred's actions, how her family reacted to them. We have flashbacks to her past and what influence it has on her current actions. So in general, it positively surprised me, and it created a set of exceptionally well-developed characters. I loved Woody Harrelson's performance, in particular Sam Rockwell's, which created a very interesting character, and in particular Frances McDormand in the lead role. Mildred is a very tough character. Her personality is difficult to warm up to and understand. She is not meant to be liked. She is the main character and she is desperate. She went through something unspeakable and tragic, and which nobody would ever wish to experience. But some of her actions are presented as debatable. The film doesn't immediately introduce her as main character, so heroine of the story who always makes the right choices. Instead, it focuses on discovering why Mildred behaves in a certain way, what led her to her actions, which are not just limited to the billboards. Also, she is introduced as a very strong, independent woman. But as the plot moves on, the story reveals a much more fragile personality, and Frances McDormand absolutely excelled in her role, giving us what I consider a 360-degree look into her character, including some very personal and fragile moments. And now she is nominated for Best Actress at the Oscars after winning the same title at the Golden Globes, and I would definitely agree with the Academy if they decided to award her an Oscar, because it really was an outstanding performance. If the Academy had included even Michelle Williams for all the money in the world, it would have been a tighter race, but I think that at this point the chances are definitely for McDormand. Even Woody Harrelson and Sam Rockwell are both nominated for Best Supporting Actors, and in particular I'd like to underline again why I loved Sam Rockwell's performance so much. Just like Mildred's, his character was a very tough one to act out. He is a detestable policeman which lives with his mother, with which he has a very love and hate relationship, and he is introduced as a racist, ignorant character which does not care for anybody around him. But as the story moves on, we discover there is much more to this. We really see what made him who he is. This character development, along with many other features in the film, reminded me of Prisoners by Denis Villeneuve, in which we only teamed up with the main characters because they were the main characters. 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri is a very complete film, and the kind of film you can watch if you like dark, creepy themes and mysteries, if you enjoy stories about the role of a mother, if you like dramas, if you like to add a touch of irony. It has so many different features that reach out to a widespread audience, and it all somehow makes sense, and it is connected because everything is set in a dark and corrupted reality made of flawed individuals where there's a deep loss of faith in humanity, just like in Villeneuve's Prisoners. 3 Billboards' main competitor at the Oscars is The Shape of Water, and although I personally didn't enjoy it just as much, it does have many features which will definitely stand out to the Academy, so it will be a very interesting competition. Let me know what you thought about 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri with a comment here below. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to subscribe for more movie related content, and I'll see you soon. Bye!